All right, here we are to the lecture portion of Unit 6, Part 3, the benefits and barriers. What we're going to be taking a look at some of the um, benefits of and barriers to teacher-family partnerships. We're starting off right off the bat with our first journal of this section, Journal 2. I want you to take a moment and write down what makes you uncomfortable in a school setting and comfortable in a school setting. There's a continuum of parent involvement. As you can see on this line, we have parents who avoid school. There are parents who need encouragement. Right in the middle, we have parents that respond when invited. So they're kind of, yeah, I'll do it, but I need to be invited. There's others who are comfortable and enjoy the school environment, and they're probably a little bit more eager. And then there's some that really are overactive, and they may be a little bit power hungry. They really enjoy that. They're go-getters. I had examples of all of those in this on the continuum when I was teaching K through 12. One quick story, I had a parent who had had such an averse experience as a child in the school that he had difficulty walking through the door to bring his little 4-year-old into the classroom. It was heartbreaking to watch this father as he wanted so desperately for his child to have a good experience, but he had had such a horrible experience as a child. And so we have those parents who avoid. And then we have the other parents on the other end who are just all about being a part of the classroom. They need very little encouragement. They are all over it. And then, of course, everything in between. We have uneasy tensions. Parents, why may you want teachers, why may you want your parents in your classroom? I asked this question. It's not uncommon for parent or teachers to want parents in the classroom because parents can have knowledge and skills that add to the curriculum. They might have some resources, or that we can share resources with them. We can get feedback from them. Some of our reluctance, you'll come up with many more, but as I stated before, some of the gossiping. I remember when I was a new teacher, I was a little bit intimidated by the parents. That can be a component. Sometimes parents have unrealistic expectations of the teacher, and having that presence in the classroom can be daunting. There might not be enough space. The teachers might want to maintain control. And oh, you're going to come up with a whole lot of additional reasons. Then we have the opposite, parents' perspective on schools and teachers. Why do parents want to be in the classroom? And it might be that you want to spy on the teacher. You might want to be there with your child. You might want to see what it is that they're learning so you can take that information home. And why might you be intimidated by the teacher? Maybe you feel like you don't have enough education, or maybe you don't speak the language, maybe you're not feeling welcome, maybe other things can play a role as well. Schools have the basic responsibility to do these 6 things. Number 1, enable families to provide skills and knowledge to help children at each age level. Of course, number 2, and we're going to spend a lot more time talking about this, but communicate with families through notes, conferences, emails, phone calls. Communicate. Number 3, include parents as volunteers. And throughout the semester, we're going to be talking about best practices in doing just that. Number 4, guiding parents to help their children. 5, involve parents in decision making about the program and about their child. And then number 6, of course, providing community resources. Thus why I have you doing a minimum of 3 resources every week this semester, so that you are gaining more and more resources to help the parents that you work with. So, why are there barriers? First of all, the scope of functions. Parents play every role. Look at all those hats those parents play related to the child. They are the taxi driver, they are the nurse, they are the police officer, they are the chef. All of those components that the parents are their scope of function. And the teacher plays a lot of roles as well, but the main focus of the teacher, of course, is to be the educator. So the scope of functions are very different. Parents wear a whole host of hats, and the teachers wear one main hat with a lot of other sub hats. The intensity of effect. Parents are extremely emotional about their child. They better be. um, and we hope that they are very much connected. One of the things I like to state and reiterate in conversations about parents and educators is the parents cannot think about their child without being emotional. So they talk about their child through their heart. And as educators, it's really important that we meet the parents where they're at. Teachers can get really heady. We can get all cognitive about the child and the child's development. Parents can't process their child through their head. They process their child through their heart. We are teachers and we don't have the same depth of emotional connection to the child. Our job is not to meet all of the child's emotional needs. That's the parent's role. So the intensity of effect. Attachment, not unrelated to intensity of effect, but differently. Parents are deeply attached and they're attached over time. They're going to be spending a lifetime with this child. We want that. We are going to be in and out of this child's life. For some of us, it's 9 months. For some of us, it's 3 months. For some of us, it's 3 years. But nonetheless, we are just briefly in that child's life. Our attachment is temporary. Rationality. Parents are very subjective about their child. They cannot be objective. They have to be subjective. They are so crazy about their child, and to the point that it's hard to see the whole of their child because it's hard to be rational and have conversations about their child, especially if it's a tough conversation to have. Teachers can be more objective. That's your job. You are to be observing the child objectively. So is a child developing appropriately for the milestones that we think should be happening or know that should be happening chronologically? We have to be rational. That's our job. To expect our parents to be objective and rational about their child, well, that's just silly. That means that when we have a conversation with the parent about something important about the child, we have to remember that they're going to have difficulty being objective. So we have to plan our conversations appropriately. Spontaneity. Parents are going to be responding emotionally. When we talk about their child, they can go from happy. We say, oh, we're so happy about the way that your child did A, B, and C today, but I'm a little concerned about D. Boom. The emotions can go from one extreme to another with just the word but, da da da. And so and we act emotionally when we talk about our child. I can't not. I think about times when my children have been adversely affected by the environment or situations in life, and I cannot think about those situations without getting all fired up. Teachers, we need to keep cooler heads. We need to see the big picture. We can't respond as spontaneously as a parent. Partiality. Parents are biased on their child's behalf. Their child is the only child in the classroom, as per the bottom left in the screen. Educators, we don't have that choice. We don't have that option. There are many children in our midst, and we cannot show favoritism. That's not going to be helpful. So Parents are going to be biased on their children's behalf, but we cannot be biased. And then the scope of responsibility. The parents need, for your third journal, I'd like you to take a look at those role differences. Which two are the most difficult for you as a professional, and explain why these are so difficult. What are the roles of the teachers are the parents in the classroom, I mean? Well, first of all, they are the teachers. They're the teachers of their own children, and we want to help them be educators. And we can help them teach their children as teachers. Parents as spectators, inviting them in to do observations, to learn new ways, especially with respect to guidance or some of the teaching techniques. But roles of the parents in the classroom can include them as coming in and observing. Volunteers as temporary helpers and resources. I know that as a parent, I loved that portion of my responsibility was and that was to go into the children's classrooms and volunteer, bring some of my expertise, read books, to do journaling and so forth. I would put together lesson plans on occasion because that was something that I enjoyed doing, and I could come in and assist. We can invite parents to do the same. And then parents as policymakers. This is through PTOs or PTAs. This is through advocacy groups. We want the parents to be invested. All right. Thank you.